apparently there are about 80 million fans of Trump's Twitter, because that's how many followers he has.
80 million?
I don't know if they're fans. They're more like, let's watch this fucking train wreck.
You have to follow Trump, right? I like NASCAR accidents. It's fun to watch.
It's a train wreck.
I like the meme
well,
one.
not the bad ones.
The meme one?
The meme Trump one.
Yeah.
What's the meme Trump you're talking
The
about?
fake Trump one on Twitter.
Oh, right.
He always says what Trump might have said or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't follow Trump that much.
Twitter.
I don't even have a Twitter.
True.
I think I do follow Trump on Instagram though, but I don't know if it's really
He has
him.
an Instagram?
Is it him? I don't even know. Or maybe it's just reposts.
Who do you follow? Do you even know what the fuck you are?
Do you know who Donald Trump is?
You probably follow Kanye.
Oh, yeah.
Kanye's posting all that.
There we go.
Oh, really? Oh.
About the same messaging there.
There you go.
But then you know what? I saw how many followers like Obama had, and I'm like, dang, Obama's more popular.
How much do you have?
It was way bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that also hate Donald Trump, obviously.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
Who?
You heard it here first,
Name
folks.
one. Trump is notorious for his antics on Twitter. We all know that. And recently he posted something about how mail-in ballots lead to fraud for elections. Have you heard about that?
No, the only one I knew was the fucking, calling everyone thugs that are protesting right now.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that today too.
Okay.
Yeah. But for this one, we're singling out one particular tweet because this started a firestorm for him because Twitter fact-checked his tweet, which was saying, claiming that mail-in ballots for elections lead to fraud, and historically, all elections do mail-in ballots. So they're like, that doesn't make any sense what you're claiming. So they basically took it down, and then now Trump is trying to sign an executive order to basically
Have his fucking tweets show up on Twitter?
yeah, exactly.
No.
To protect
Freedom of speech?
free speech, and not let these companies dictate what should be up or not.
Well, hold on. So social media companies have like they had Congress carve out a bunch of laws for them where they can't be sued for defamation for a lot of things, and because they're considered. I don't know what they even call it, but the idea behind it is basically Trump is taking that away because they have integrated themselves into the political process.
Right. There's a law that I think was passed in '96 that pretty much protects all internet-based companies and everything online. So there's free speech, whatever, and the law cannot touch these companies, which then has now led to a lot of tech companies to take it into their own hands to monitor and to censor and whatnot. And so Trump's saying we shouldn't let these private companies have that kind of power, and we should put this power back into the government, is pretty much what's happening.
They
right?
also fact-checked him, frankly, with sources that are biased against Trump. Like, and by that I just mean, like, literally one of the guys who was talking about mail-in fraud, his own Twitter feed, or I'm sorry, one of the guys who censored him from Twitter, his own Twitter feed is like super anti-Trump the whole fucking way. So like, and also mail-in
Ballots.
have had issues in the past with fraud.
And how do you confirm that these are legitimate people without, I don't know.
I don't think there is a way, because I feel like the internet has always been the wild, wild west.
Especially
and
with
it still
the
is.
recent Experian or Equifax hack, you
Yep.
can basically use that database and vote however you want and do a lot of identity theft and all that.
Is it like jury duty style, like where whatever, like your DMV or whatever ID, the address you're registered to, they send the ballot to your house there to try to.
Yeah, that's the only way
That's
they
the
can
closest
find
way
it.
they can kind of come.
But that's absentee, right? This new idea is that basically it would be everyone's voting from ballot via mail because of coronavirus concerns. And so people are saying that could be a real rife with abuse if it gets in the wrong hands. People printing ballots up.
Yeah.
People claiming that certain people are voting even though they're dead, which
So
happens
it's
fucking all the
not
time.
ballots that the government that's going to send to you to fill out. They're scared that people are just going to start printing their own ballots.
Yeah, so they could, or there's just different ways that people can like skew
Bypass
the
the
numbers.
system.
can fraud the system in their own county, right? Because the thing that Obama even said about our elections, if you remember in 2016, he said, well, our elections are decentralized, so you're not going to have a big problem with fraud with voting. But you still have irregularities with votes. And Obama wasn't even saying that doesn't happen. That's the problem.
They uncover like voter fraud during the Bush election with
Diebold?
Right, the electronic voting machines were kind of fucked up.
Diebold was the creator of those machines, and those machines were shown to be fucked with.
Yeah.
So, I'm always skeptical of all voter fraud shit. So just because it's Trump saying it doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to it. Like, we should be vigilant.
So let me see if I'm following correctly. So he puts out this tweet. It gets censored because
by Twitter.
Because the people from Twitter are saying he's just spreading false information.
Misinformation.
Yeah, so we can't support this. Now he's trying to pass something so that everything goes up.
Well, but then that the state has the ability to take anything down. So it's they're
A little history about that though is what people don't know is that most people don't know is that Trump isn't the first to do this. There's a reason why Zuckerberg was out there on the stand. It's because there's a battle going on right now, and the question is Facebook and Twitter and all these companies, are they like, AT&T? Is it like a phone service? Is it a place where people can be
Public
free
square.
and say whatever? Or is it a place that need to be regulated? So this is also why we're feeling the effects on YouTube and Instagram and all that, where there's
this affects all platforms.
There's over control right now, right? Because what my insider friends in these companies are telling me is that they're trying to get ahead of the problem. So we all want free speech and we don't want the censorship. But here's the thing, it's like, if the government comes in and controls these companies and how they're managed, right? That's gonna be a whole nother set of problems for the rest of us. That's the assumption of like Facebook and whatnot, right? So they're like, I rather self-manage before I have to jump through these hoops and loops when the government comes in and tries to do all this stuff.
That's true.
So they're trying to get ahead of the game, and we're seeing the effects of that, of like, maybe we made an incorrect post because they just don't have enough staff to help us out, so the fucking algorithms and whatever, we're a victim to that. So it's just a whole chaotic situation right now.
Damn.
And then the crazy part too is Facebook and Twitter are kind of at odds with each other too in philosophy, because Zuckerberg is kind of like, well, in his philosophy, he's saying no one should touch this. It should be a free for all. Like, it should be a public square.
Well,
Facebook fucked up.
Facebook didn't do that though, because
they banned some people and all that, and then so some guys that, if that was his philosophy, he basically is a hypocrite, because obviously I don't know if he made the call, but Facebook is known to take out people that didn't agree with their political stance on certain things,
including groups.
Yeah.
Like they'll just take your group down.
Wow.
Right. And also they'll censor your posts, and they'll also fact check your posts with sources that, don't necessarily rebuke or even rebuke your point.
Right.
If you actually read the fucking articles, half the time they don't even necessarily like say, oh, this is not true. They say this is not true in the subject, but then if you go all the way down, they actually sort of agree with it. Like, it's not one-to-one, like, yes, this is easily debunked. Like, voter fraud happens. Mail-in voter fraud has happened. Ballot harvesting is not necessarily a great thing, which is what everyone's pushing right now. So, this isn't just a fucking... A lot of people like to do this bullshit where they go, the truth has a liberal bias, or the truth has a conservative bias. And the truth is a way harder thing to nail down than just going, it belongs to one party.
I don't even know what the truth is. I don't even know what my
Well,
truth
it's not an
is.
easy fix is what it is, because if it was an easy fix, I think that people won't be spending years trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, like, there's so many, I guess, things that we have to consider, such as, like, should the government control these new entities that we use on and they are kind of monopolies, right? Because, you have Facebook and all these other, there's no MySpace competing with it anymore, right? Or like, there's no...
Instagram and Facebook Facebook owns Instagram, so at least these two companies can work together, right? And it's just like, it's they have a monopoly, like you're saying.
Right.
And the craziest part too is that it's not just these platforms that that may or may not need regulating. There's also just a darker aspect of the internet that obviously on a moral level needs regulating, such as child porn and all these things. But because of this law passed in '96 that the internet is a free-for-all space, like the government has very little ability to shut down these things that are happening on the internet. And so that's another angle to think about.
Well, they can shut you down for whatever the fuck they want. I mean, look at WikiLeaks, bro.
True.
Like
if they really wanted to, yes.
if you're against them, they're coming at you. But what disturbs me,
what happened to WikiLeaks? They got shut down.
I mean, they basically threw Julian Assange in jail, and they're going to extradite him probably to the United States, where he's going to face trial for basically just giving us truth about how we've all been spied on for years. Yeah. But quickly, Joe Biden. I don't know anyone who voted for Joe Biden. I think that Bernie Sanders just got completely fucked hardcore, and I think that we are all pretending like voter fraud didn't just happen. Like, and by the way,
I mean, it was proven that it happened. The DNC fucked Bernie over with Hillary's campaign.
They
it was
coordinated.
proven. It was coordinated.
Not with ballots. They influenced inside the DNC, and they did the same shit again to Bernie just again. So, or just right now, they basically put Biden into place. Like nobody voted for.
Yeah, I really want to know, because my assumption is that. I'm thinking that boomers who don't go online and they just watch TV all day, they're the ones that voted. And I'm assuming that maybe the reasoning is, hey, Obama was a great 8 years and he was in office, so he has experience, so let's bring him back in.
But even then, right? What did they do to Bernie? They said he's a Russian agent just before everyone goes and votes on Super Tuesday. So... And that was all proven to be bullshit after Super Tuesday was over. So, and also they kept Elizabeth Warren in, who was siphoning off Bernie votes, and they all knew to keep Elizabeth Warren in, and Elizabeth Warren stayed in to siphon Bernie votes. And then as soon as that shit was over, she pulls out, and it's already too late for Bernie. So we act like voter fraud. Look, I'm not talking about ballot voter fraud there. I'm talking about influencing elections.
Nudging the public to only have one choice is what it is.
So it's all such a big scam anyway. Yeah. So the idea that ballots don't get fucked with, yeah, right. If you look back in 2016, I think they proved something like they said only 4 irregularities happened. Does anybody really think that? Does anybody honestly want to sit here and say...
Only 4? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Does anyone want to sit here and say, I think that only 4 irregularities happened?
I mean, just even if everything was honorable, just human error can fuck a lot of things up.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't buy all this shit. Ever. It's common sense sometimes.